Might have ventured too close to some high power line or something, I don't know, but no excuse. Anyway. Right here you see a donation drop-off where people just dropping off shoes, clothing. Take what you need. I mean, it's... This is a cell phone charging station. There's a lot of things that the news isn't really covering. I mean, like I said earlier, I mean, there may not be too much commentary here, but it's just, the footage speaks louder than words. If you'd like to make a charitable donation to help support the Rockaway recovery and relief efforts, the link to the Occupy Sandy page, donation page, is in the description. You can also visit LC Sunshine, it's LC like Larry Charles, sunshine.com/Rockaway. And the links will be there, as well as a description of what we've been going through, our plight. The amazing part here is that, and I'm not saying I'm a conspiracist or anything like that, but for the first 7 days before, support and help started arriving in force, internet access, cell phone access, it was all limited. There was little to none. It was very difficult to take pictures and get them out on your Facebook so people can see. I mean, if you look on my archive event from when I was covering Hurricane Sandy, you'll actually see some pictures. I was able to actually get internet access and broadcast. Hey. Occupy Sandy has been a forefront for the Rockaway recovery effort here. They organize hundreds, thousands of people from all over the New York area, New Jersey, I mean, just all over the place to come and help us. They've been a terrific organization, and they've been working with Rockaway Taco. They were working with Rockaway Taco and the Brooklyn Kitchen and other organizations just to make sure that we were able to survive, not be defeated. Right now I'm walking underneath our train line, which is not active right now. That's another thing too. The only mass transit we have to rely on here is our buses. The subway line has been shut down. It was actually washed out in the community of Broad Channel, which was very hard hit. But they have their power back on now. They've already started the rebuild process, and they're a small little community. They call them the Little Venice, the Venice of New York. They're very, very small, at sea level, if not below sea level. But a lot of people lost their homes, a lot of destruction, but they're where we want to be right now. We envy them in some ways. You just see down the blocks, that truck you see right there in the corner, underwater, washed to its side. Where I'm actually heading right now is I'm actually heading to the start of the bungalows. Bungalows are homes that have been here for 30, 40 years plus. They were originally just little beach houses that people have essentially modified and converted into full-time homes. These bungalows were especially hit and devastated, more than the newer buildings around here. People have been living in some of these bungalows for generations, passing the bungalows on from one family member to another. These buildings you see right here, they are running on city power. Not city power, generator power, industrial generator power. That they went active last night. LIPA, Long Island Power Authority, has been sitting on industrial-sized generators for over a week now. My block, all the lines were repaired, and it was ready to accept electricity. They haven't turned it on yet. This is a parking lot of just cars that have just been devastated. I mean, so many people here in Rockaway Beach rely on these vehicles for mass transit just to get around to work, whether it's delivery or get to their jobs maybe out of Long Island or wherever it may be for commuting purposes. A lot of these people, they didn't have full coverage. They had liability. Basically means that their car is just getting junked and now they have to wait for FEMA to mail them a check. Which is sad because checks can take weeks. And who knows? And that's if you even get approved. I filed my claim for just because we don't have any power. I've been spending hundreds I probably spent over almost $2,000 in the last 2 weeks just to survive. Gasoline, there's a huge gasoline shortage out here. Gas lines that are 3-4 hours long, 8 hours at peak, some of them. They only started shortening the gas lines in the last couple of days. They enabled a odd and even system. And yes, that truck was several inches from me on this little path that I'm walking on here. Because it's important. I don't want this small little enclave here of bungalows to really be forgotten. And I've been trying to help direct a lot of volunteers to this area. You can see when the water rushed up the block. Now keep in mind, there was 5 feet of water in some places, 6 feet plus more. That's debris. All that debris at the fence line you see right there. You can see this block here. You kind of see through the fence a little bit. This debris, cars covered in debris. Dumpsters. That dumpster wasn't here. That dumpster was up the block and just smashed against this fence. These are the bungalows, folks. These small, little, one-story homes. These are a lot of their cars. These people can't afford a lot of to buy brand new cars. Lost and destroyed. And we have to wait for our government check. My own vehicle, by some miracle, and maybe it was because I was supposed to do a better good, supposed to help my community, supply runs, whatever anybody needed in my area, I was their wheels. I was there for them. My car was under about 4 feet of water, but by some miracle, my door seals held. I only got 6 inches of water inside my car. The engine compartment has a rubber seal around it. I guess I built up an air bubble underneath it. I don't know. But the water line was only up to my exhaust. All my car needed was a jump start. And it was back up. And the next morning when the sun rose, my wife Frances and I, she made the first run. She went out there with our dog to check up on friends and family. Launch a search and rescue operation. Call it what you want. Call it what you will. I took the second run. Went out there, checked up on more friends and family. Saw people walking the streets in a daze of shock. And offered them water, canned food, anything they needed that I had from my supply stash. Because we were on the second floor. We weren't hit that hard. And we survived. But these homes right here, these homes, the bungalows. I have my business partner. He has his cousin that lives over here. Lost, devastated. Nice to see FEMA's here with a nice shiny car. FEMA, question mark. That's exactly what it was. That's exactly what it was for the first 7 to 8 days. I mean, they sent one administrative truck, and their answer to everything was file a claim online. Good luck trying to get an internet connection. If it wasn't for Verizon coming out here and providing a mobile internet access station and a mobile cell phone tower, we'd probably still be without cell phone service. Sprint just got a truck here about 2 days ago, a mobile cell phone tower. Just got it here. T-Mobile just got here a few days ago. AT&T 3 or 4 days ago. Verizon 48 hours later. Less than 48 hours, I believe, actually. Had the first truck out here. But it got overloaded, so they brought in a bigger truck. This is my community. This is my home. A lot of you may think that I was stupid or ignorant for not evacuating. But you know what, though? This is my home. I mean, you have to understand that. Now, I was in the military. I served in 2001, 2004, and never left a man behind. Well, you know what? This community, the people that live here, these are my people. These are my men, and I couldn't abandon them. Couldn't leave them behind. The scary part here, I'm gonna tell you what the scary part really is here, is that this block in particular had these people's homes, their personal belongings, their hopes and their dreams stacked 10, 15, 20 feet high. There's been a lot of cleanup here that I wasn't able to get to you. I wasn't able to get to you. I wasn't able to charge my cell phone. I wasn't able to get it out to the internet. They've been working for 14 days straight, the sanitation department, to get things cleaned up. Our president, President Obama, was denied access to Rockaway. He wanted to come out here and see the devastation, see what other additional federal assistance that he can offer. And Mayor Michael Bloomberg said to him, I don't have time for you. I don't have the resources. Meanwhile, from what I hear through the rumor mill, the National Guard that was stationed in Rockaway Beach, about a mile and a half, or maybe 2 miles, 3 miles, let's say, even, was not allowed to enter into Rockaway. They were denied access. Federal aid was denied access for the first 7 to 8 days by the city. The city, with their huge ego, thought that they could handle this on their own. People were freezing. It was the coldest October on record here in Rockaway Beach. Going into October and the beginning of November. Today it's seasonal. You know, it's where it should be. It's a seasonal norm. It's about 55, 56 degrees. But we got down to the high 20s, low 30s. A lot of people without generators, without a source of heat. The block I was just on with the bungalows, they had an 80-gallon drum that they were just taking parts of their home, the wood and scrap, and burning it just to stay warm. If you'd like to make a donation to help support the Rockaway relief effort, the link to the Occupy Sandy donation page is in the description of my event here. Or you can go to LC, my company website, which is LC, like Larry Charles, sunshine.com/Rockaway. And all the links and description of our plight is there. This has been the struggle of a lifetime for some people. This section, and I use the word section, and I'll explain to you why shortly as I make my way uptown. This section of Rockaway was forgotten. Minimal help for the first 7 days before the first boot landed on the ground to really help us in volume that was substantial enough to help people. for the first 7 days too, there was a information and press blackout. The press wasn't coming out here. They were being directed to other places or not being allowed into Rockaway Beach at all. LIPA, Long Island Power Authority, focused all their attention on Long Island and not the Rockaways, which were hit heaviest. There's a lot of misinformation, disinformation that's out there, making people, for you who can't see that, you know, listen, we know the press can be bought. The press can be told what to show and what not to show. And that's exactly what they did. Not to sound like a cornball or anything like that, but this is Rockaway Beach Boulevard. Cleaned up. Every one of these vehicles you see here that's parked nose in first was actually parallel parked. All the vehicles you see in this lot, water over the tops of their roofs. But not to sound like a cornball, but this is, I call this the boulevard of, you know, broken dreams. Not to bite off a Green Day or anything like that, but it's true. This is the main boulevard of Rockaway. The main artery. It runs from one end to the other. Brand new cars, old cars, doesn't make a difference. One out of probably 100 or 1 out of 1,000 of these cars actually survived. People rely on this transportation to get to their jobs, get to the grocery store. Gone. Homes lost. This whole parking lot, this fence was just a debris catcher. These are chunks of people's homes, boardwalk. I mean, they've cleaned up a lot, and I tell you, they've kicked it into overdrive in the last 72 hours because the president has finally said enough's enough, and our President Obama, is coming here on Thursday. They've kicked this into overdrive. Right here. The boardwalk is about a block and a half away, and this is a chunk of boardwalk that's floated this far. But back to my other thought. So the president is actually making his way here on Thursday. And they've kicked it into the cleanup efforts into overdrive. I only wish I had the power and I had the means to bring this to you the days after so you could see what I saw. I wish I had a spotlight to where I could have brought to you live the night. Because it was dark, pitch black. If you like, you can make a financial donation to help support the Rockaway relief effort, as well as the area in here in Northeast. It's operated by Occupy Sandy movement. You can visit the description to Occupy Sandy's donation page is in the description of my videos. And you can also visit my website, my company website, which is lcsunshine.com/Rockaway, which has the description of our plight, story of our plight, our fight for survival, as well as a link to the Occupy Sandy page. Well, it's not that there's no federal money. It's that, just like any other bureaucracy in the world, it's all paperwork and triplicate and whatever, and you gotta have an interview, and then after you have your interview, an inspector has to come to your home and assess it. The Rockaway Peninsula has over 100,000 people. something of like 40 or 50,000 residents, or as far as homes, physical homes, and obviously they have children. But the last census we have over 100,000 people, 102,000 plus to be exact. But a couple hundred FEMA inspectors takes them weeks to do the assessments that they need to do. You know, a couple dozen Red Cross vehicles it does nothing. It's a drop in a bucket. It's a needle in a haystack. You know, they do very little. The Red Cross is a joke, and I will never make another donation to the Red Cross ever again. Ever. But you know who I will support? Brooklyn Kitchen. They've been here for us. Occupy Sandy. They've been the forefront of our survival. Now, the one thing that really disgusts me here, and as soon as I get to this gate up here, I'm gonna kind of circle back because it's kind of just cars and boulevard. But I lost my train of thought already. There's a huge class divide here in Rockaway. There is the wealthy and the not wealthy. Now, all the misinformation you're seeing on the press, and a lot of the press coverage, is uptown. That's where people have over six-figure incomes, combined household incomes of over 500,000, you know, six figures, or going up to $1 million. It's in Ponton and Bell Harbor. That's where all the press is going. That's where, they were hit hard. I'm not saying they weren't hit hard, but what I am saying is that the uptowners are asking for, taking volunteers away from people that can't afford to pay for their own repairs. They are taking the majority of the sanitation resources. They are taking the majority of whatever federal resources, National Guard, donation centers. They're taking it all. But these people are the wealthy, and they shouldn't get priority, and that's what angers me.
I know. It's like I have no words.
And basically, the uptowners are getting everything. I mean, there was a page that I was a very big, you know, myself and my wife Frances were very big on as far as, you know, participating on. And when I saw someone from the 140s ask for volunteers before the nor'eastern hit to save what they could, do you realize that the 140s is the most wealthy people here in Rockaway? Millionaires. And they were asking for volunteers and help? So I snapped. I had my words. I said my piece. And no one said boo to me about it. I wasn't called out like on some of these forums and boards that you'll see where you say something like that and you get attacked. I wasn't, because it was the truth. That's the difference. That's what I'm bringing you here. I'm bringing you the truth. I'm bringing you you don't see camera crews walking 20 blocks, 30 blocks around, you know, broadcasting live. There's editing, there's sensationalism, but I'm broadcasting to you this live. It's really sad. It's sad that I lost for words. It's classism. That's the word. It's the only way I can describe it. I've been using that for the last 2 weeks. It's classism. There's no racial boundaries here anymore. There's no denominational, you know, or anything like that. Everyone is just helping each other out, helping one another. If you'd like to make a financial donation, the link to the Occupy Sandy donation page is in the description of my event. Or you can visit my website, which is LC, like Larry Charles, sunshine.com/Rockaway, and all the information you need to know is there. You can also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/Donald, that's DONALD, .Diavanzo, DAVANZO. This particular area of the boardwalk, they've already started actually demolition and rebuilding this area. They've cleaned up a lot of the dirt, a lot of the sand that's on the streets here. I mean, if you really want to see images, follow me on Facebook. I was able to, squeeze out, pictures here, pictures there of how, especially this area right here where I'm standing. This is actually underwater up till last week. There was still 6, 7, 8 inches of water that was trapped between the sand dunes. Excuse me. But they've already started the slow rebuild process here of dumping sand between the piers, sorting out wood debris, things of that nature. Another sad thing is that there's certain parts of our childhood, other residents' childhood, that should be saved. Prime example is this seal that's right here. This was part of like a sitting area. Kids would sit on this. There's actually a picture of my daughter sitting on this very seal, and they just picked it up and tossed it into the debris pile. This concrete seal here, this statue, should be not a memorial, but should be used in some type of courtyard here when they rebuild, as a sign that we will rebuild and we will survive. This is a children's childhood here. This is some kid who just would sit on these and play and pose pictures. It's a picture of my daughter. She's 4 years old. A picture of my daughter sitting on this very seal that they just discarded. There's minimal preservation on this beachfront here of what can be saved and should be discarded. I would love to organize a group of volunteers. And you know what? If you're in New York, if you're in New Jersey, and you want to come out one of these days, it doesn't make a difference. Contact me on Facebook, facebook.com/Donald.Diavanzo. There's so much here that can be preserved. The memories of what Rockaway is, not just helping people recover, but there's also there's the post-recovery. This is after everything's rebuilt. There's a park bench. I mean, I know I'm not trying to be shallow here, but I'm sure a lot of you understand what I'm trying to get at here, that there's things that can be preserved in memory of this, so it's not forgotten. Little things like this park bench here. This park bench, all this boardwalk destroyed, but that park bench survived. It's the little things like that you see that it kind of makes you say, wow, that survived? When the help started pouring in here, and I wish I would have got their name, because I would have loved just people to know their name, and I didn't even get it. About, I think it was the 6th or 7th day, there was a couple that I was standing on my front porch. You're kind of still in awe, because out of nowhere overnight, the help and the support from regular people, private organizations, doesn't make a difference. More volume than the National Guard or FEMA or any of those organizations, which are mostly, whatever. But the whole point is that there was a couple that came, and they asked me if I needed anything, food, water supplies. They had a pickup truck loaded to the brim. And I said, no, I'm